Hey everybody, welcome to Trading Capital's daily live stream of the market open. Today is currently May 5th and it is the final trading week in this session. So obviously we had Apple earnings come in better than expected, or actually they came in double beat. So obviously Apple's up trading around the 170. Now, Apple at these levels, in my opinion, is a short. Obviously if I flip to the Apple chart here, you can see that we closed at 165.79. And basically Apple's trading above 170. So anything above this 170 level, in my opinion, is a short on Apple. If we look at the S&P, it is gapping up today. So the daily chart is trading at 408. Let me just erase some of these trend lines here to clean it up, just so we have a clear view. So it's nice that we're going to be filling this bear gap up here, and then we'll see if we get a reversal or if we get continuation move to the upside. So keep your eye on Apple for a short above these 170 levels. I am in a swing short of Apple already. You did have the dollar pop up pretty significantly off of the better than expected jobs data and unemployment dropping to a new low. I believe it was 3.4%. So obviously that's going to give, again, the Fed the leeway to continue to raise rates higher for longer. Regional banks are creating a big boost off the low. If you look at like PACW, it's up over 30%. Then you take a look at WAL, it's getting a huge boost off of the lows. So definitely some interesting price action in the regionals. The big question is, will the regionals hold on to their gains over the weekend? There's certainly a lot of risk holding the regionals over the weekend, where you could enter receivership and a whole host of other major issues. But as of now, they are holding and they are up significantly on the session. I think the big talking point, look at gold. Massive move down. Down already on the session 1.89%. And that's really not even come on the back of a strong dollar. I mean, the dollar surged a little bit, but not really as much as what is expected here, which tells me that since gold is down so significantly and the banks are up significantly, people are having a little bit more faith in the banking sector and moving more capital into the banking sector. The big thing I'm watching on this weekly chart, if this turns into a weekly topping tail, you could classify it as it is one, because this body of this candle is basically 2 times less than the wick in size. So it does meet the criteria, but I would want to see it maybe push down a little bit more to about the $2,000 level on gold to really deem it a weekly reversal. But that would be a nasty reversal on gold. Notice how we did put in that triple top. Basically, gold made a new all-time high up here around the 2082 level, and it has reversed since then. So it was very short-lived, which tells me that gold needs more time to consolidate. You're looking at silver. Silver's also getting hit. Miners are getting hit. So I think we added to our miners pretty much at the high yesterday, to our short side. So that's good to see that it's coming in off of that level pretty significantly right now. Nvidia's up on the session. Coin also reported earnings, so that is now a short opportunity. Basically anything, if we get into this weekly or this daily 100 moving average, I think that is a short. It's going to be interesting to see if Coin can hold on to its gains, because you did trigger on the daily chart this little M top formation. You have a clear neckline, and if you get a failed confirmation back above that neckline, Coin is likely going to head much lower to about this $31 level, possibly even filling this breakaway gap zone. So this is a big level for Coin. It did have decent earnings, despite when you look under the hood, it really wasn't that impressive in my opinion. But needless to say, it's up on the session, and we may have a short opportunity on it for a day trade. So I like Coinbase. The pre-market high was around 54.31. So anything above 54, you can even grab some here, in my opinion, is a decent short. You did have Bitcoin fall and react negatively to the dollar. So if you look intraday at the 15-minute chart here, Bitcoin was putting in a flag consolidation, then had a big dip down on volume. That was the big spike in the labor report number that caused the dollar to surge, interest rates to surge. Now the positive for Bitcoin, you're still holding this green bar. If you lose this green bar on an intraday basis, then Bitcoin is definitely more in trouble. On an hourly basis, you are holding that impulse green bar. So it does favor maybe a potential continuation, but we'll just have to wait and see how that reacts. But it's going to be interesting to see how the markets hold, or if they hold on to their gains today. That's kind of what I'm waiting for. We do have a couple other potential longs. I'm looking at Wolf Speed for a long trade. It is trading into some pretty good technical support here. It's way oversold. You've now had a few days of earnings, but this stock is coming up into some really critical support here in a very oversold condition. If I look at the weekly chart, what I want to show you is potentially we're hitting this trend line here. So that trend line is being tagged, and it was actually tagged yesterday, where you can see it, major pivot. So this should be a bounce zone, technical bounce zone for Wolf Speed. I mean, I don't know how much it's going to give us, but the stock does have a tendency to move pretty quickly. Maybe you get a retrace back up to the $54 level, but that's a big maybe. Considering this has exposure to the semiconductor space, it does leave it vulnerable if the semis show weakness. And again, if Nvidia starts to top, if the SMH starts to top, I mean, we saw AMD have a big pop back above its neckline yesterday. So if we look at AMD on the daily chart, it was on watch for a trigger of this bearish pattern, and it negated it yesterday. However, in negating one pattern, it opened up a new one. So you can see you got a daily close back above, negate that pattern. Now you have an even bigger head and shoulders with a more developed right shoulder. So now we watch for a break of this neckline. I do believe AMD is a short, but it is down in the after hours right now, but we'll just have to wait and see if we can get a little bit more of a pop to play this on the short side. I did trade it intraday. It did have a nasty hourly reversal, but as of now, AMD is down in the after hours despite the QQQ being up on the session. I'm also looking at LYV as a short. This one reported earnings. It beat its earnings, but I do like this 72.50 level, anything above 72 as a potential short here. But you can see that we are trading above this key neckline as of now, and it's going to be a big level to see if it can hold. But LYV for a short does look interesting as well. I'm keeping an eye on DraftKings for a short. That reported earnings, that's popping up. I like anything above the $25 level. You have this major pivot. I would love to see it pierce there and hit this dotted line around 25.30 for a short on DraftKings. I think it's going to probably give back some of its gains here in the near term. But overall, you can see it's a parallel channel resistance. This dotted line is the 100 weekly moving average, so it does hold a significant resistance level off of that area. I'm looking at EPAM for a long. EPAM reported earnings. Now, one thing with this stock we have to be careful of is there is a bearish pattern that has triggered on the daily chart. If you draw your neckline across there, connecting one pivot, two pivot, that's your left shoulder, your right shoulder, pivot over here, breakdown zone, bearish consolidation, bigger breakdown, almost a retrace but failed, which means that this stock is very weak. If it couldn't even get a retrace back to the neckline, and now it's pulled off significantly and gapping down on earnings again, this chart has much more downside. Now, I wouldn't chase it. I'm actually looking for a long trade. If we can get a flush down into the gap window and gap fill area, it's quite a ways away. Still, it's about 4 or 5%, but the area I'm looking at is basically in between this 234 and 225 area for a long on EPAM. EPAM is the ticker. We're also looking at Lyft, so go figure. Uber reported great earnings. Market had a phenomenal reaction on Uber. Let's just pull up the Uber chart for comparison. And this is what the market loves to do. They keep doing these sympathy plays where they pop one play and then they drop the other. You saw it in First Solar and Enphase. You're seeing it now in Uber and Lyft. Uber had a fantastic report. And then you look at Lyft. Despite a beat here, I haven't really looked at it. Despite a double beat, market reaction, boom. Big drop to the downside. The level that I like for a long trade on Lyft is basically at this double bottom zone, 820. 820 is the level for Lyft. You are going to be coming up into this breakout trend line over here, which means that you could go a little bit lower. What I'm noticing here on Lyft is kind of a failed continuation move. So this chart had an initial move up, big drop pullback, but it created a higher low. And then you have made a little bit of a higher high over here. And now the big thing is if you lose this level here at around 860, this chart is very, very vulnerable to making new all-time lows. So just pay attention to lift because it should drag down its counterparty in the event that it's weak. All right, so right now it's 9.25. We are seeing oil getting a nice boost here up to the $71 mark. You're seeing natural gas getting a bid off of the lows, so that one's holding as of now and trying to go positive. It's actually up 1.49%. We added to our AR position yesterday pretty much at the lows, which is getting a nice little bounce here as we speak. So really that's going to sum it up for the intraday. We'll just see how the markets open, see if they can hold on to their gains. But definitely gold is looking extremely interesting and very, very weak here. If gold was to flush down into this 1983, 1985 level, I would look for maybe a GLD long scalp trade. So GLD level equivalent would be around probably this gap fill, around 183.82, around that gap fill. That was your big red bar low and then bigger reversal to the upside. So let's pay attention to some of these names because they are fast moving, but coin right now is definitely on the radar for a short. Full disclosure, I am swing shorting it, but I do like it at these levels. All right, I'm going to flip all my charts back to the regular session so we see the gap ups, gap downs. Bear with me, but right now the spiders are creating a nice move higher, a very big move higher. I'm looking at Pac West for a short as well. Anything above $5, I can see myself inching in on the short side. It is risky because they are down, but we haven't really seen Pac West basically being able to hold on to its gains. All right, spiders are pushing up here. They are pretty much at the pre-market highs, so we are going to be gapping up. And if we create this, if we hold on to this gap, then we potentially have a little bit of an island reversal going on from the lows, which technically speaking is a very decent bottoming formation. It's pretty decent. Meta just went negative. I find that very intriguing. But DKNG is on watch, so we'll watch that one. I do like that one for a potential. Let's just see that. And obviously Apple's on watch. Let me just flip this to the regular session. So you can see Apple's making a new 52-week high here. And we have about 2 minutes till the open. 2 minutes till the open. But everything's catching a pretty decent bid here off of the lows. Except for gold. And Bitcoin's under a little bit of pressure as well. All right, we have about 45 seconds till the open here. So definitely keep coin on watch here. I am interested in coin, DraftKings. All right, coin is open, Meta's falling. Coin's pushing up. DraftKings hit the top of the channel there. Let's see if we can get a pierce. Let's see if we can get a pierce. I'm going to go to the 5-minute chart here. Go to regular trading hours. And you can see DraftKings is reversing off that level as of now. Alright guys, I'm shorting coin here. I just got filled at 55.22. 55.22. It's a 1-6 position. 55.22. Short coin. We're seeing the spiders trying to hold up. Nvidia's coming down. Apple's trying to come down a bit. Nice. Next short level on coin would be basically 56.50. 56.50. Which we are pushing up now. Let's move along to DraftKings. Look at that reversal. Wow. DraftKings reversal is one for the ages. So next is 56.50 on coin. I will add to that short position. 56.50. Meta is negative. Nvidia is catching a bid here. We have PacWest up 37% now and pumping. Gold is trying to catch a bid. KRE's gapped up, obviously. Shopify is seeing some strength. Apple's now up 3.3%, so people chasing Apple. Sorry, let me just mute my screens. Coinbase, we're still just waiting on Coinbase. Some of the regional banks now are seeing some distribution. Let's take a look at the CRUS. That one is falling ever so sharply. I do like CRUS if it flushes into this little bit of a breakaway zone over here. It is hitting some decent support right now. But 75.50, I'd go long CRUS. Meta is seeing weakness. Meta is seeing a lot of weakness here. Spiders are pushing near the highs. I'm going to be adding to my coin short here momentarily if we see some more weakness. So Paramount seeing continued weakness. Alright guys, coin is coming up here. Never quite hit my level. DraftKings has acted well. So sharp reversal down in coin coming in, but it's still acting well. Apple's pushing up even more now. Apple's making new 52-week highs, breaking to the upside out of its wedge pattern. Spiders are still holding up exceptionally well. Gold is still under pressure. Oil's still near the highs. Apple's still near the highs, pushing up. Regional banks are also still holding up. Meta's kind of lagging. Anything above 173 on Apple, we can also short, day trade short. Spiders are still near the highs. Nat gas is trying to push up. Apple's near the highs, so it's pushing up. Tesla's pushing up. Regionals are still pushing. So definite strength in this market as of now. Healthcare is seeing a little bit of distribution and weakness. Qs are still near the highs. SPX is hitting some good hourly chart resistance right now. SPX is hitting some good hourly chart resistance. Nvidia is pushing up. Big surge on Nvidia. It's now up 1.2. Apple's approaching that 173 level, guys. All right, I'm short Apple here, 173.15, 173.15. I'm going to go 1/4 position here. $173.15. Coinbase is coming in. Spiders are still acting well. The dollar's putting in bullish consolidation. Next ad level on Apple is going to be 173.85. 174.50 and 175.10. So Coinbase, we're nicely in the money. See if we can get some more downside on coin. Alright guys, I'm covering coin here, 54.35, covered coin, 54.35, boom, that's a nice little win. That is a nice win. That's over and it actually probably is going to go lower, but that is a beautiful win here. 1.6%, it's even going lower here, 88-cent gain. I had 200 shares there, so that's a nice little pullback. Apples now, let's focus on our Apple trade. That's still approaching our next ad level. That is approaching our next ad level. You have PacWest still pushing up. Coinbase is reversing off of the highs. Bitcoin's falling, gold's falling, oil's still strong. So the dollar's trying to put in some potential move up. I'm going to add to my Apple here, guys. I will add to my Apple. Spiders are still nearing the highs of the session. Spiders are still at the highs of the session here. Holding up very, very well. Take a look at this LYV. So LYV has obviously gapped up. If it pushes up into the 76, there's a 77, around 77.50 is the 200 moving average. So 77.50 is really good resistance on this level. Just going to put in a blue little line here so I know that's the 200. Apple's now starting to see some downside pressure. So it never quite hit our next level, and it is coming down. So we're now in the money on Apple. Let's watch this trade. Spiders are still at the highs, holding up exceptionally well. You have regional still pushing up tremendously. Markets are still pushing up. Coin is coming back up for another charge. Apple's starting to see some sell side pressure, but markets are still acting exceptionally strong. Nvidia is surging. Keep LYV on your radar. That's approaching that 200 daily moving average around that 77.50, 77.40 level. DraftKings is back to the highs. Gold is still weak, setting some new lows here. So lots of strength still coming through in Apple. Spider's new high. Just keeps surging up. Nvidia's pumping. Nvidia is pumping right now. So this LYV is approaching this short level. 77.42 is actually the level. Coin is also pushing up, back again to the high here. So I do like coin if it pushes up a little bit more. Anything above 55.50. Anything above 55.50 I'll consider shorting coin again. Apple's pushing back up. So PacWest has been halted for volatility to the upside. PacWest has been halted. Bitcoin is surging now, so Bitcoin is surging. Apple's still just hovering. Nvidia is seeing some downside now. Tesla's pumping though. So another little push in LYV. Silver's getting decimated today. Apple's still seeing strength, so is Nvidia. spiders are still pushing. Gold just made a new low. Oil's pushing up to the highs. The Russell's still pushing up to the highs. Bitcoin has had a nice surge. Apple's up 4.5% today. It's a big, big move to the upside.